Electricity Minister Dr Kgosientsho Ramokgopa is set to give his weekly update on the implementation of the Energy Action Plan today. In fact, he's in Mpumalanga giving an update on the Kusile Power station, which is in Emalahleni. Watching those developments is SABC News economics reporter Katlego, Legodi, who joins us now live from that site. And Katlego, perhaps you can take us through some of the important questions to pose to the minister, given where this briefing is coming from. I mean, Kusile being a central part of this Energy Action Plan.
A very good morning to you, Ayanda, and to our viewers at home. You're right, we're coming to you live this morning from the Kusile Power station here in Mpumalanga, and this is where we see the Minister of Electricity, Dr Kgosientsho Ramokgopa, breaking from the norm in terms of him giving us an update there by the GCIS. Today he's doing it from the ground here in Mpumalanga. And remember the last time that we had the Minister on, he gave us a sense of these power stations, one after the other, in terms of how they've been contributing to the energy availability factor. This particular power station here is one of those that has been touted as a success story, Ayanda, coming out of the Energy Action Plan. This Energy Action Plan, when it was introduced last year, Ayanda, it categorized and identified 6 power stations that were going to be prioritized or categorized as priority power stations, and Kusile was one of those power stations. So we hear that these power stations were contributing to about 75% of the outages in terms of what has been happening, and more or less contributing to where we were in terms of the load shedding and the rolling out of those load shedding. But what we're seeing here is the Minister and the Electricity or the Energy Action Plan and NECOM and everybody else from Eskom talking about how these power stations have really been turning a corner. We're hearing now that the Kusile Power Station is giving us about 90% of energy. This is something that was not the case last year. I'm going to step out of shot and show you what is happening behind us. Last year, when we came here, Ayanda, with the Minister of Electricity, it was when there was a fire that took place here at Kusile Power Station, and the Minister was kind of giving us a sense of the interventions that are going to be taken here on the ground to ensure that this facility is safeguarded. They've been moving from one power station to the next. Duva is one of those, Midupi is one of those, and they've been coming through for these power stations in terms of ensuring that there is energy availability, and they do away with the outage slips. So today we'll be hearing from the Minister as well in terms of these interventions and really how far these interventions are taking us in terms of where we find ourselves today. What we know, Ayanda, as well, is that we've been about 46 days in without load shedding, and what we hear the Eskom team attributing this to would be the issue around the energy availability factor. So this energy availability factor comes from these power stations, and these power stations have been problematic in the past. Some of them even more or less given shelf life in terms of the decommissioning of them. But we've seen the Minister through the Energy Action Plan saying that they are working to ensure that they focus on station by station. Right. And I suspect that from Kusile, then he'll be taking us to also one of those power stations. But we hear that Kusile has now graduated, Ayanda, is no longer a priority power station, and maybe that is why the Minister is bringing us here today.
Sure. Got you, Katlego. Thanks very much indeed. And we'll certainly be back once that briefing begins. But for now, thanks very much indeed, Katlego Legodi, live to us there from Emalahleni, specifically at the Kusile Power Station.